Hi, this is Stephanie Forbes, New Leaf Wellness. I'm just sharing a message today about the new kids. I've been talking lately about the new kids, and I've been blogging about it on empoweringourmagicalkids.com. I just started that in November. I feel like there's an important message. There's an important shift that is happening right now, and I've been aware of it for quite some time. I started studying these new kids probably around the year 2000 when I started awakening and becoming more involved with my spiritual self. And so I've been monitoring all of this through the years. I've been seeing the aspects that, the characteristics that I have that is part of a new kid characteristic. And I've since birthed two of these new kids, so I have some experience with it. I've been doing some kids camps and some kids spiritual workshops and things like that. So also with a lot of readings that I'm doing for kids, I'm realizing that they are so sensitive. There's so many characteristics about them that aren't quite understood in the typical community. So in your school system, in your daycares, and just the society that we're being brought up in. There's a lot more awareness now. A lot more people are tuning in and finding out that these kids are different, and they're nurturing them. I am a mother of two, and I have seen a lot of kids come through my door. A lot of kids like to be here. They hang out here, and I love it. I've seen their interest in crystals, their interest in metaphysical things, their intuition, how clear it is, how they can detect, when someone's not in integrity. I've had a lot of experience with this, and I think it's a lot of fun to watch. And I think it also does make me sad when I see that sometimes they go home and their parents don't quite understand how to nourish that, or they think that there's some kind of thing wrong with them because they don't seem to fit with the social norm. So I'm just going to start from when I discovered the characteristics I had. When I was about 20, I realized that I read a book by Doreen Virtue, The Care and Feeding of Indigo Children, and it really resonated with me because the characteristics of an indigo child is, we're human lie detectors. So, we get a sense of people before they even say anything. We know when something's not authentic. And what we're here to do, spiritually, we have a mission. Everyone has a mission. Some of us are here for specific missions for change in the world. And I believe that's part of the reason I'm here, is to kind of break down the corrupt systems that aren't working anymore. There's a lot of negativity on the planet. There's a lot of hate, greed, corporate, all the stuff that's going on. I don't have to explain it. It's in your news feed. It's all over the news. It's everywhere. So what we're here for, because we have these warrior spirits and these integrity detectors, we are here to challenge what's going on. We're here to challenge the systems and go against the grain of society. I've always gone against the grain of society, not a follower here. And that's another characteristic of an indigo. An indigo is representative of the color of our energy, which evolves and changes from day to day. But the characteristics, I don't really like to label something like, oh, I'm an indigo child, because I have a lot more than just a label, just like we all are. And but the indigos are here, and we were born around the 70s. This is according to Doreen Virtue, from the 70s, give or take a few years around there. I was born in 80, so it spans over some time. My 11-year-old actually shows a lot of indigo qualities, but also a lot of crystals, which I'll get to in a second. So what we're here for as indigo spirit children is to change, make change, break down old systems, stuff like that, which does essentially end up paving the way for the new kids that we're birthing. So, if you're watching this, chances are you have a special child. Not to say not all children are special, but that there's a quality about them that is a little different. And so what we're birthing is the new spiritual breed of crystal children. So these kids are coming, and you'll know when you meet one because they exude love. You look into their eyes and your emotions are moved. You feel like this connection. You feel this openness. They're very heart-centered. They are very sensitive. They don't like to be around harsh energies, conflict and rambunctious behavior, stuff like that. They tend to stay away from that if they can. And they're very drawn to nature. They connect with nature. They communicate with nature. They may be inclined to avoid meat because meat tends to lower our vibration. And their energy is very of a high vibration. So they naturally have a tendency to avoid meat. So as parents, we're like, oh, but we need the protein. They need to grow. They need to eat the protein. There's so many sources. So, I mean, don't sweat it if they aren't interested in eating meat, because that's okay. As a nutritionist, I could back this up. That there's a lot of different sources. Almonds, like nuts, seeds, and legumes, lentils, kidney beans, black beans. There's all different ways to serve them. Tofu. Anyway, that's another workshop altogether. But these very highly sensitive kids, they just don't seem to fit in a sit-still kind of situation. I know at the school that my kids go to, there are a few teachers there that are very free range. They don't have desks in their classrooms. They allow the kids to sit or kneel or lie on the floor or hop around, whatever they need for them to be comfortable. And it's very freeing for these kids because they can't sit still. They're not here for just sitting still. They're here to bring the planet back to love. They're here to open their hearts and show others that they too can open theirs. Our hearts are so hardened by life experience sometimes, if we allow it to be. So we see these kids and they just open us up, and they really help us see into ourselves to help us heal. And so that's what they're here for. A lot of these kids are being labeled with, that's just my dog because the garbage man's here. A lot of these kids, Indigo's included, being labeled with ADHD, which I also believe to be attention dialed into a higher dimension. And you'll notice that they're very creative, these crystals. They're very artsy. They can just sit out in nature for hours. We should really let them get dirty. That's it's a meditation for them to be out in nature. All of these electronics and these devices and things that make kids just sit still, it can tend to dumb them down. And if they're given medications to get them to sit still, if they're getting medications to get them to focus, consider other alternatives to having them just medicated. There are different physical ways to get them to focus, and maybe they're just not interested in certain topics. I just saw a video the other day actually about the entrepreneur is not necessarily interested in history, and that resonated with me because I have always been an entrepreneur since I was a kid, and I couldn't get history to absorb into my brain. I thought, I know that this isn't part of my life purpose to know this. There was just that inner knowing and a disinterest that kind of came off as I have a bad attitude kind of thing, because I was like, I don't need to learn this. What do I need to know this for? And but what it is we are gravitating to what we're interested in. A lot of times parents have this unlived life that they experienced, and they have good intentions, but they want to impose that on the children. Like, here, I never got this opportunity, so you do this, even if it doesn't jive with the child. And what I'm finding is, in the business that I do, is that I'm seeing a lot of adults who were told to do this, do as I say, not as I do. Kids are to be seen, not heard, and don't voice your opinions, don't show your emotions, just be quiet and follow and conform, and it's just not flying anymore. And so I was one of those kids that are like, authority, what? Who's going to tell me what to do? Because I had a mission, and I was going to do what I needed to do, and I was never doing anything, to get into trouble. I was just not conforming, and I'm sure there's a lot of you right now that can relate to that, feeling like, what do I need to learn this for? What do I need to do this for? Anyway, we're at this time birthing these beautiful kids that are big, beautiful eyes that are magnetic, loving, all loving. They will sit with animals for hours. They will talk to the trees, whatever. And, a lot of people are thinking that's weird. And that's like, oh, yeah, they have it, they're not following what I want them to do. And anyway, so that's part of the reason that those crystals are here. And there's not a whole lot known yet about the rainbow children, which come after the crystals. They're generally born into a family of crystal children. What's awesome is that most of the time these kids are being born into families that at least one of the two parents are open-minded, or maybe it's a grandparent that's open-minded, that will help them stay true and authentic to who they are. The problem is we often act out of fear, and so we think they need to get 100% on this test, and they have to do this and they have to do that, and you have to just conform for whatever reason because of our own issues. We think they got to do this. We have our own fears, and we sometimes parent out of fear. But the challenge right now is to see this in a new light. See it from the higher perspective of the spiritual reason that we're all here. We all have a purpose. We all have a mission. These kids aren't any more special than any other kids. They are just here specifically for the healing of the planet. And that's another thing about the crystals. They are natural healers. You can be in the worst mood ever, and one of these kids walks into the room and it picks you right up. I have two of them, and I love them so much, and I'm so grateful that I live in this time where we can be a part of this change. And I really believe that we owe it to them to parent them with integrity and to listen to what they have to say and to be open to who they are, and to let them be free on their path, to let them have messy hair, because they don't care if they have messy hair. Only we do. We have to let go of a lot of these things, and we have to learn from them. They're here to teach us so much. They're here to show us, they're like little mirror images of us. They're here to show us our flaws. We see things in ourselves sometimes when we look at them, and that's an opportunity for you to heal something. A lot of times we have inner child stuff that doesn't really show up until we have triggers, which are the kids. They challenge us to see things within ourselves, and sometimes we react a certain way with them, and then we have to ask ourselves, where's this coming from? Why are we reacting this way? That react or respond. Really, parenting these kids really takes some deep breaths, some challenging to change your wiring, because we are programmed to parent a certain way. We're programmed to react. We're programmed because that's just the way it's been all these years. And it's so exciting that we are in this time where we can do things differently. We owe it to them and to the planet. Accept the challenges as they come. And please, if you have any questions about your children, if you'd like a reading and to see their energy, I can do a distant Reiki reading with them, and I would love to. And you can contact me at stephanie@newleafwellness.ca, or on my Facebook page, Stephanie Forbes New Leaf Wellness. And I'd be happy to hear your questions, because I'd like to keep this conversation going. If you have any questions about what different insights into your child's personality, so that you can help them thrive, help nourish them, how we need to just let them be them, because they are awesome, and we should really love that they've chosen us to parent them or guide them along this path. So much love and gratitude for listening. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.